Let us start this session on constraint elimination, understanding what a constraint is and how to eliminate this. What is a constraint? Can one of you answer? What is a constraint? Constraint means an obstruction or a hindrance or something that prevents us from moving forward. In this picture which you see here, you find a person trying to move forward. Let's say if in his normal speed, he is able to go around, say, at a speed of 20 kilometers per hour. With a chain and an iron ball tied to his leg, he may be able to go forward maybe 5 kilometers an hour. So something which is preventing him from attaining his potential, this is called constraint. I hope I am clear. Something which prevents you from attaining your potential. Same thing happens in an enterprise also. So many things prevent you from attaining your full potential. And in this session, we will see how to eliminate those constraints and achieve the full potential of the enterprise. Okay, what are the session objectives? To understand constraint and how it limits throughput. Learn the different types of constraints in the organization. Learn how to eliminate them. Know about critical constraint, contribution, statistical fluctuation, and dependent events. So in this session, we will see these 4 objectives are attained. Now, before we go further into the session, just understand the basics of constraints. First thing we all should remember is that there is no system or process or resource which is unlimited potential. There is always a constraint. All system, process, and resource has got constraints. I think the only resource we have in the world where there is no constraint applicable is the human brain. It keeps on expanding as long as you learn. Let's say when we talk about a computer, or when we talk about the speed of the vehicle, or when we talk about a supersonic vehicle, a flight, it still has a limits. Okay, maybe it's going at 1,000 kilometers per hour, but then there is a limit of 1,100, 1,200. Why we are not able to achieve that? Because it is a system constraint. So basic of constraint, first thing is all system, process, and resource has got constraints. System without constraint is a utopian concept. Constraint limits our capabilities. The constraint that limits throughput. What do you mean by throughput is basically invoiceable or billable production is called critical constraint. There may be so many limitations, but one of that limitations will prevent you from producing one more piece, will prevent you from serving one more customer, will prevent you from attending to one more patient. This is called a critical constraint. Okay, so attending to that constraint is more important. The best part about constraint is that when we act on the constraint, it moves. It moves from one department to another department. And from that department, it will move to another department. And finally, it will move outside the organization. Let me give you this by an example. Let's say, initially you find that the constraint is in your packing section. You are not able to pack more than 100 pieces a day. So you bring in more people and get ready to pack 150 pieces. Then you find that the constraint is no more in the packing, but it is in the production line. You are not able to get more than 130 pieces. So now you try to add one more person there, find some new process, find some new methods, and you remove the constraint and you are ready to produce 200. But then you find that the market which your sales is able to convert is only about 150 to 160. So is it a sales constraint or market constraint? Okay, you add one more person, you find that you are able to reach 170, but not more than that. You add two more also, it stays around 170, 175, which means that the constraint is now moved from your organization to outside the organization. As I asked in the beginning, what is the meaning of constraint? It is something which limits your attaining the potential. A limitation or a restriction, this is called the constraint. Now, to understand more about a constraint, now let us just look at a traffic signal. We all know the traffic signals are there. We want to rush through the signal. We want maximum vehicles to get out of the signal. Let's discuss about a traffic signal. Now, let me ask you, what is the purpose of a traffic signal? Any of you can answer. Vishnu or Matthew, please tell me, what is the purpose of having a traffic signal?
To control the traffic.
Pardon?
To control the traffic.
To control the traffic. Okay. What else?
To avoid accidents.
Okay, to avoid accidents, to control the traffic, to stop the traffic. But is that the purpose of the traffic signal? To avoid accidents, close the road, or to control the traffic, don't let the traffic through. Actually, the purpose of a traffic signal is to maximize the flow of vehicles in the direction, okay, in all the four directions or in all the three directions if the traffic signal is catering to only three roads. So a traffic signal is put there so that a maximum number of vehicles pass through that point at a given period of time. In 1 minute, how many vehicles are able to pass through? Okay. This is the purpose of putting a traffic signal. Otherwise, there will be accidents, there will be a stoppage of traffic, and there will be no free flow of traffic. Now, to have traffic flowing in a disciplined way and get maximum vehicles out of that junction, you have a traffic signal. So now, before we go further, let us analyze what will be the capacity of a signal. We know that the capacity for the machines. We know that there is capacity for some process. But how do you calculate the capacity at a traffic signal? Now, this is a picture of the signal I'm showing you. Let's calculate how many vehicles can go through the signal in a single minute. That will give us the capacity of the signal per minute or per hour. Now, I mean, not in one direction, but in all the four directions, because this signal, it looks clear that it's a intersection of two main roads. So traffic flows in all the four directions. So we will see, let us just calculate what can be the maximum vehicles that can go through this point in a minute's time. Again, let me tell you, it may not be accurate, but it is for a start, plus or minus 20% accuracy, you can get some figure. For this, I assume that the vehicle speed at the signal point is 30 kilometers per hour. The signal is open in any direction for 15 seconds, and the next 45 seconds, it is in red. The number of lanes you have is 3. And the average length of vehicle, I am calculating it as 6 meters. Though I know very well that an auto is only 3 meters long, a Swift is only 4 meters long, a bus is around 8-9 meters long. Maybe longer vehicles, maybe a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW is around 5 meters long or 5.5 meters long. So I am taking an average length of the vehicle as 6 meters, and the gap between two vehicles I am maintaining at 1 meter. In Saudi Arabia, when I was working, I used to see at signals police asking the vehicles to move closer. Okay, there will not be a 1 meter gap. You will have to maintain. They will not permit you to maintain more than half a meter gap or even 1 feet gap. They ask you to keep closer so that more vehicles can be packed in that sector, that segment. Okay, so I'm taking the average length of vehicle as 6 meters and the gap between vehicles as 1 meter, as we see this in India. Now, what is the capacity per minute? In this way, if we calculate, as the speed is 30 kilometers, you can easily assume that in 1 minute, 500 meter length can be covered. In 500 meter length, you can accommodate approximately 70 vehicles in one lane. So in 3 lanes, you can accommodate 210 vehicles. So in this way, in 15 seconds, 53 vehicles must pass in the open direction. In the direction where it is green, 53 signals should be passing through. This is we can assume to be the capacity of the signal. Now let's go back to the signal. You see here that there is no traffic in 2 directions, or in one direction absolutely no traffic. In this direction you see only 3 vehicles. There's a big line of vehicles here as well as here. Now, can you tell me what is the problem you see in this signal? What will prevent achieving 53 vehicles passing through this signal in 15 seconds? You can give me your ideas. You see the signal here. This is empty signal. There is nobody there. Now let me just explain to you what are the problems I see in the signal here. The first problem is that the number of vehicles standing beyond the signal. You see, this is a signal point, and you have 2 rows of vehicles standing in different directions at this point. I presume that this signal is going to go green now. And you see already there is somebody who wants to go right, somebody who wants to go straight, and there is somebody at this left-hand corner who wants to go to the right side. Now, if 15 seconds is the time available to you at this signal, and this kind of indisciplined behavior from the people prevent the flow of signal, you will find that hardly you will get 10 seconds, because in the first 2 to 3 seconds, the persons here will not know that the signal is turned green. Then immediately when he moves forward, you will find this guy moving to the right. So you will prevent the flow of vehicles from here. So in the first 3 to 4 seconds, you will not have any vehicle passing by. You will only find that people are adjusting so that they don't create an accident or chaos. In this way, you lose 3 to 4 seconds. Now, remember that you have only 15-second window and you are losing 3 seconds, which means that you are losing 20% of your capacity. Similarly, you find that there is no lane discipline. Many vehicles are standing here or there, creating a confusion. You don't know which way this guy is going. You don't know which way he is going. And the last thing is that you will find that the left is supposed to be free, but unfortunately it is not left free. See, there is vehicles standing here also. The left corner should always be left free. In between the 2 cars, you will find a motorcycle. So the persons in the car, they will be scared that they will create an accident. So all these kind of things prevent you from utilizing the 15 seconds. And in that 15 seconds, you will find that you have to make so many adjustments that hardly 15 or 20 or 30 vehicles can move through. Having calculated 53 vehicles as the capacity of that signal, unless you reach 53 or more, you are not utilizing the signal fully. So this is the constraint you find. You find the constraint first here, behavioral constraint, because many people have overshot this. Then there is a system constraint. There is no signboard showing which direction vehicle should stand in which lane. Then again, there's a discipline problem here because you find that the free left is not free. Again, there is no lane separation. There is no lane demarcation. So you will find that out of 15 seconds, maybe only 7 or 8 seconds vehicles can pass through easily. This is why this is the constraint at this signal. I remember traveling to South Korea several times in my career. From my hotel room, I could see a signal like this with about 6 lanes. There'll be maximum number of vehicles will pass through that signal in that 15 or 30-second time, with buses and small vehicles all in the same area, but there'll be not a single vehicle out of lane. And there'll be a signboard saying which vehicle should stay in which lane. The ones going straight will be in the center, the ones turning to the right will be in the right side, and ones going to the left should be in the left side. In this way, there will be minimum congestion and minimum blockage of traffic. People can go to the left and then take a U-turn and then go straight during that 45-second period. This is why they keep the left free. So this is the way they are minimizing stoppages at the signal and maximizing the flow of traffic at the signal. So you can put your observations and remedies.